I buy one during American Idol. My target audience is adults 25 to 54. That rating was what, an 18? Okay? And I bought a commercial during the evening news, the late news that night. The rating is a 5. 18 and 5 is 23. In media terms, in media jargon, I've just purchased 23 GRPs, or 23 gross rating points. Gross rating points is just a cumulative sum of all the programs purchased. Now, as you might guess, the more rating points you buy, the more, what? People you reach. And if you buy similar programming, say I only buy the news, then I'm buying more frequency. Why? Because I'm not reaching different types of audiences. I'm only running in the 6 o'clock news on one station. So I'm not building reach, I'm building frequency. But if I'm buying different programs in different time periods, then I'm building reach. But anyway, you measure it by gross rating points. Pretty simple. So when you negotiate, you look at commercials, and generally your length of TV commercials are going to vary. You could buy 30-second spots, 15s, 10-second spots, or 60s. Of course, you pay more for the longer the commercial. You determine what's called a cost per point, or cost per rating point. So I'm going to ask the stations to submit what commercial costs are for the 6 o'clock news, 5 o'clock news there, and the morning news on WHAM. They're going to give me a rate sheet that has what the cost for a 30-second commercial is. It costs $400 to run a commercial in the WHAM 6 o'clock news. That's about right, too. The average rating for my target audience, which is adults 25 to 54, is a 5. I take 400 divided by 5 to get my cost per point for that particular programming, and it is $80. 400 divided by 5. That's my cost per rating point. The station gives me the cost for a commercial. I know the ratings because I subscribe to the Nielsen data, and I know what those ratings are. And then the cost per point is just simply taking your cost divided by the rating. Now, the lower the cost per point, the cheaper the programming. The higher the cost per point, the more expensive it is to reach that particular target audience, because one rating point equals what? 1% of your target audience. So let's take a look at this little list here. The 6 o'clock news on Channel 10, $300, 4 rating, $75 cost per point. It's more efficient to buy the Channel 10 news because my cost per point's lower, but I'm not reaching as many people. There's a trade-off there. The Channel 8 news, WROC, at 5, $150. Their rating is only 2.5. Their cost per point is $60. So, very low rating, but the cost per point is pretty good, pretty efficient. So, I might say, wow, I can buy a lot of these and save money, but if I buy a lot of these, I'm going to pay a lot more to reach that audience because of the cost per point. Now, I could look at the Channel 13 morning news as an alternative to the 6 o'clock news. $175, a 4 rating, $43.75. Where would I put my money? Would I put it up here? Would I tend to put it down here? If I wanted to make an efficient buy, I want to put my money on these programs here where I got lower cost per points, but be careful. Lower cost per points aren't always the end-all and be-all when you're buying TV. Why is that? Why do I not want to focus on lower cost per points in this case?
Because you still want to hit your market.
Well, I'm hitting them. 4% of my adult 25 to 54 audience is watching the WHAM morning news. So that's as good as Channel 10 6 o'clock news. I'm paying only $43 per rating point. Anyone else? Not you, Courtney.
Won't that affect your overall reach, though?
You know it. Not really. I still am reaching 4% here and 4% there. It's not really affecting the overall reach according to the ratings.
Is it the type of person that you're trying to reach? Depending on who watches what channel?
Really, I'm trying to reach adults 25 to 54. So
Well,
you're on the track, though.
Is it because the morning news people aren't usually sitting and watching it? It's in the background of what they're doing?
That's 2 for you. That's right.
Hey.
Because what is unseen in all this rating nonsense that I just went over is how people are engaged with what they're watching. And that's an important point, Camera, because you said it best. If you're up in